Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Aranda, and I just wanted to welcome you all to my channel. I'm going to do mostly faceless videos, but I just wanted to explain who I am, just a little introduction, and getting a little to my story and why I'm doing content on Paraguay. If I look down, it's because I have my notes. All right, so yeah, I'm Ryan Aranda. This is my new channel I'm starting. It's gonna pretty much have to do everything that you can think of with Paraguay. Paraguay is an amazing country, and it's a very viable option nowadays for people to live. And because of that, I wanted to do this channel. And so, yeah, we're going to get into it. So I'm 32 years old right now. We're in 2023. And I've been coming to Paraguay for the last 11 years. I've spent a cumulative about 9 to 10 months here. But I've been coming all by myself. So I've really been thrown in the fire and dived into the culture pretty much as anyone possibly can in my position, right? With the limited time that I have been able to come, I've been coming pretty much every single year or twice a year for about a month time. So yeah, and I am adopted. So I was adopted at 2 years old. I was born in Fernando de la Mora, and that's a city within the metro area of Asuncion, and Asuncion is the capital of Paraguay. Um, yeah, so I'm just gonna do a quick timeline. So in '91, I was born. It's 2 years after the longest dictatorship in South America. And the only reason I mention that is because it's going to be relevant going forward here in in my story. So 2 years old in '93, I was adopted, and 11 years ago in 2011 is when I began the search for my biological family. And then 1 year later is when I actually was invited down here by my sister, and that's when I started staying down here with family. Um, I'm in a hotel right now. I'm in Los Lagos, and this is a beautiful place. I'm actually going to do a video exclusively on this place. This is kind of a getaway within the city. So the city itself, Asuncion metro area, the total is about, I think last time I checked, around 3 million people. This is a little bit farther out. It's about 35 minutes away from the main downtown strip, if you can even really call it a strip. But this is a beautiful place. It's the one I'm staying in, and you can see I have a balcony. It's $55 a night, American, U.S. dollars. Sorry, but yeah. So this is a great option for you to stay here. It's beautiful. I'll do a whole video on this hotel alone, because it's not just the rooms. You got man-made lakes here. You got several pools. Um, you get a continental breakfast that's amazing. The service is wonderful here. So yeah, this is a great place for you to come and stay here. And actually, if you add it up, if you were to stay here a month, it's about 1650 over 30 days, right? So, and average rent in the U.S. right now is $1,700. And that's a big reason why I'm starting this channel as well, because of cost of living. I know that people are looking for other places along in the world. So I want this to be one of the places that's considered. So yeah. I went over kind of just the basic timeline, and now I'm gonna kind of dive into details, right? So the reason why I was adopted is complicated, but the non-complicated version is I was a secret baby, right? My mom had me out of wedlock. I'm not the only child that she had like that. She pretty much had children, and then the rest of our family would take care of them. In my case, I was pretty much left at the hospital, and then for the first 2 years of my life, I was raised in, I technically an orphanage, but really it was a small care home run by nuns, and also by either I don't know exactly, but either volunteers or workers. and they were teenage girls, or even I think even preteen girls that were kind of assigned to us babies, right? So actually, I was extremely blessed, to be honest, for the first 2 years of my life, in like considering all things given in the early '90s in Paraguay, when the government was just barely kind of replenishing itself because of the 35-year reign of Alfredo Stroessner. I'll do a whole video on that too. Um, but the only reason I kind of say that that's irrelevant, the dictatorship, is because, even right now in 2023, Paraguay per capita is the third most Catholic country in the world, right? So even till this day, there's pretty strict laws, conservative laws, right? But it was actually, I mean, even worse. I'm not trying to go over conservatism or liberalism or anything like that, but I'm just talking specifically in my case, and that's because divorce was illegal, right? And then if you had children out of wedlock, it was you're pretty much shunned from society, of what I understand. So, anyways, that was my case, right? Uh, and um, Yeah, so I have siblings here in Paraguay, and as I mentioned, I stayed the first time and every single time with my sister, actually down here, and yeah, so I was adopted at 2. I grew up in the United States. I currently live right now in Wisconsin, in the United States, and was raised by a wonderful family. Love my family. They're great. I have a brother and a sister, and 2 wonderful parents. Um, and yeah, I can honestly say that I had a great life. And I only bring that up because there's a small percentage of adopted uh, kids who unfortunately were placed in not so good homes, right? But I'm not one of them. I had a great life, still do, and it has everything to do with my parents and how I was raised, right? Yeah. So, all right, let me get in my notes. Details of the timeline, right? So I'm just gonna quickly mention, because there probably will be adoptees that are gonna watch this. Um, by the time I hit 18, as pretty much any adoptee knows, you have a ton of self identity issues you got to work through, and they're not easy. And you know, uh, y- some some of the things that you have to deal with in life, even before you hit 18, are very difficult, especially if you're an international adoptee and you don't look like your family, right? I won't get into it in full detail. I'll dedicate a whole nother video to this, but I just did want to mention that because I know that they're going to be probably adoptees, and maybe their families watching this. So that kind of leads us to my time here, right? I was 20 years old when I did the search, and then I was 21 when I met my family, right? Here, and that was only possible because I had learned Spanish in high school. Most of my friends and their families were Latino in the United States, and also I was enrolled in college in Spanish classes, right? So that's why it was possible for me, and I also kind of threw myself in the fire as well, which is not the case for most people, most adoptees, right? Who are set to meet their biological families. And in my case, I was able to, right? Um, but it costs. In Spanish here it says cuesta, right? Like emotional cost, right? It it took a lot, right? It wasn't an easy thing. Even till this day, there's a lot of things that I have to sort out. Family issues. I have 2 families pretty much. In the United States and here, and it can be a lot to navigate, right? But overall, I mean, I've had a wonderful time coming here, and now I'm at the point where I'm on a path to live here. Right, that's actually the point of this trip. This is probably my 10th trip, I want to say. Um, 9/10, so somewhere around there, here alone, right? And I actually just landed citizenship, so I have dual citizenship, or permanent residency, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much has all the same perks as being a full citizen. Um, and it was a bit easier for me because, and not too incredibly expensive. So if there are adoptees watching this, from Paraguay in particular, let me know if you're interested in gaining your permanent residency. You do not have to go through the same process as most foreigners do, who either don't have family here or were not born here in Paraguay. So I just wanted to let you know that that there will be a different process. It shouldn't be too much, relatively too much money, right? I know that 1.6 thousand is a lot for a lot of people, and I'm not trying to downplay that, but I just do in comparison, right? If you're a foreigner, expat, digital nomad, passport bro now these days, um, the general rule of the packets that I've been sent is, you really shouldn't be spending over $3,000 to $4,000 in attorney fees uh, to get your temporary residency, right? Yeah, last year you used to be able to do jump to permanent, right? But now you actually have to start with temporary, and I'm not going to get too much into the details, but pretty much you have to do the temporary first. 2 years later, you reapply, you come back down here, and then you get your permanent, and then you're pretty much set. Um, and so in my case, right, I uh, I have my ID card right now. I got set up with my a bank account as well. So I have a debit card now, which is wonderful. I'm still working to see if I can do direct transfers internationally for my bank, couple banks in the United States. It's not looking good. I don't know if I can or not. But regardless, it's a wonderful thing to have. It's really going to set me up here for the long term, right? And I don't know quite yet if this bank. Uh, I have Banco Familiar, right? And I think it's a regional bank. I'm pretty sure. When I say regional, I mean in the southern part of South America. South America is kind of, at least the Spanish speaking South America is kind of split in two. There's the northern part, and then there's the southern part, right? The southern cone, right, would be Uruguay, Brazil, at least, the southern cities, Rio, Sao Paulo, etc., Paraguay, and Argentina, right? And then you have Chile as kind of an outlier, but then the rest was kind of the northern part of South America. South America is a gigantic continent, so it does take quite a while to get here. If you are coming from the States, Europe, Australia, etc., it's not an easy country to come to, but there are ways and options for you to do so, right? All right. Sorry, guys. Let me get back on track here. I knew this was going to be an issue. I go off on tangents. Okay. Um. Yeah. So as I said, I met my family here by myself. And I quickly want to mention another program that exists, and it's called Ties, and you may have heard of it. And what that program is, right, is it's a program that, of at least what I've read, right, it's kind of more tourism, right, for about a week, and they have a week each year for whatever country you're from, or trying to reconnect with your roots, and then potentially even family. But it's pretty much a week, and it's to be honest, it's pretty much tourism. I requested the packet as well, just out of curiosity. And the program is it's costly. right? Of what I've seen, it's about $4,000. It doesn't include any kind of plane tickets, but it does provide you that first step to at least get to see how your country is. I'm going to do a full review on ties because I have a lot of thoughts about ties. Some good, but honestly, a lot kind of not so good. Only because I only say that because, me, I see ties, for example, they only give you one day for a couple hours to meet your biological family. And I think that that's kind of an injustice. Well, no, not kind of. I do think that that's an injustice. I think that, each individual case is different. If you're completely satisfied and that's your goal, to just meet quickly, stay in contact via social media, emails, FaceTime, whatever, that's fine, right? But I didn't want that. I wanted deep connections and actual time here to spend with family, also to deeply know the culture too. It's not something that you're going to learn in a week, even 1 month, even 1 year. It's you really got to get to know. And the first thing is first, right? Try your best to learn Spanish, right? And the Spanish down here is very difficult to understand. It's very dialectal, but on top of that, for those who do not know, Paraguay has two official languages, which are Guarani and Espanol, or Spanish and Guarani, right? And Guarani is very difficult to learn. But the thing is that most people speak a mix, right? So it would be the equivalent of Spanglish in the United States, for those who mix in Spanish and English, right? A lot of us Latinos do that in the States. But the mix here is called Yopara, and that's the mix between Guarani and Spanish. So you can get really thrown off, right? That's why it's good to get the best grasp that you possibly can on Spanish. I'll go over ways to how to do that in a separate video. Again, this is mostly introduction, but I'll be breaking all these topics down for you guys because they're important, right? Whether you're an adoptee watching this, a family member of an adoptee, expat considering Paraguay for retirement, passport bro / digital nomad, considering Paraguay for temporary or some permanent residency. So, okay, let me get back on. Okay, so I'm going to kind of continue with my time in Paraguay. The family aspect, like I kind of mentioned, is very hard to navigate. So I'm speaking directly to adoptees, right, who want to do what I did, who really want to immerse yourself in your family's lives and them in your lives, right? It's because like any family, right? Years are going to pass, things are going to happen, people will pass, drama might go down. You want to stay as far as you can out from the drama, right? But sometimes people kind of drag you in, and you got to do your best to kind of stay out of that, no matter how that looks, right? Okay, so also food, right? Food is a big reason why people travel. Food is very good here, and it's hard to explain, right? But there's a lot of European influence in the food, and there's also a lot of indigenous influence in the food, right? So think of a lot of different indigenous plates that you may have tried in restaurants all around South America. And then there's also a huge amount of immigrants that have always came into Paraguay, Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, a bunch of Germans, Italian influence, Irish even, believe it or not. I mean, there's so much influence, right? From Europe, even today, and they're still going in waves, right? Right now, there's actually a wave of Germans again. There's a ton of Germans here. In fact, I just went downstairs and just heard a German party, right? So there's a ton of influence, and most of our plates, at least traditional plates, there's the hamburgers, empanadas that are all around South America. There's oh gosh, what's the other one? Lomitos. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't know what lomitos are, but um, there's different kinds. But it's basically like either a meat like burrito kind of thing. We don't eat spicy though. So for those of you who love spicy, like me, because I grew up a lot around Mexican Americans and love Central American food, I love spicy, but you're not going to find that here. So you have to add your own spice, which is exactly what my friend did, who came down here, who's a Chicano Mexican American, right? So he was trying all the hot sauces from the stores, right, and putting it on whatever he wanted, right. So we don't have spicy food really, but the fruits and the vegetables and the meats, right? The meats are premium. So if you think of probably in your city, or if you live close to a city, there's probably some kind of Brazilian steakhouse, right? That's pretty much Paraguayan food as well. Big on steak, big on red meat. It's a great place to, if you're a meat guy, especially red meat guy, which I know a lot of you guys are. This is the part of the world to be in, right? Um, and famously, Argentina is known for its steak. We are as well, but Brazil is as well. This part of the world is, right. Um, Fruits, you guys. This is a tropical, it's technically subtropical, but I mean outside, right? You're gonna see a lot of um, palm trees, all kinds of tropical plants that you've never seen before in the States. Tropical fruits. I mean, there's so many. And pretty much any tropical fruit in South America you can get here very easily. It's all very good. And in fact, down here, mangoes, right? They're so common. They're everywhere. Mango trees are everywhere. I mean, it's not even like uncommon to have it in your own yard, right? And actually, uh, people laugh at me when I ask how much does a mango cost in the store, right? And they laugh at me like, buying a mango in a store? Are you kidding me? No, you just go to your neighbors. I mean, like, or like, people just have them falling off the trees all the time. And in fact, I don't know if people don't know what a mango tree is. It's a giant tree, right? So actually, they can actually hurt you, when they fall. I mean, they're falling from a couple dozen, feet, so yeah, I mean, mangoes are just absolutely everywhere. There's a season, I think it's the fall time. Or no, wait a minute. But don't quote me on that. Anybody who knows better. But anyways, there's a time, right, when mangoes are just like falling everywhere. You can find them in the street, absolutely everywhere, right? And a mango in the U.S., right? What, $2, $3, something like that, something ridiculous, right? That most of you aren't spending. I know I'm not for a mango. Actually, I do sometimes to throw in a smoothie, but um, you know, and I keep talking about mangoes, but there's everything, right? Anything you think of. There's a banana trees, which are super cool. I mean, I've never even seen a banana tree before I came down here, right? Bananas are always just in the store for me, right? I'm from the Midwest, so yeah, we definitely don't have banana trees in the Midwest or mango trees. Not even close. No. So fruits are amazing. There's all kinds of fruit. What's the there's a chain, right? I think it's called like Mi Fruta or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but there's a bunch of like smoothie fruit stores. Actually, in the market, I just got a fruit salad with like kiwi. What it had like apple, guayaba, pineapple, or mango. Uh, man, everything. And I'll show pictures of this stuff too. But man, the fruit is absolutely incredible. Here in breakfast, they always have fruit. Um, not a ton, but they'll have at least like melon. No, oh, what else? Plum. What is it? Guayaba, I think. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but um, I should know these, right? But anyways, the fruit's amazing. Vegetables though, salads are to die for here. I remember the first time I tried a salad in the market of all places in downtown, right? Incredible. Like, I just felt like there was like 10,000 nutrients in the lettuce alone, right? Not even including all like the tomatoes and all that. And, so much of our food is processed in the States. I think Europe is better off than the States. I don't know about Canada, but I know that the States, like, a lot of our stuff is not good quality, man. Like, and we're paying top dollar for it too. And I know you guys know that, for those who live in the States, right? But man, just the salads are amazing. Any vegetable, right? And it's all like, if you go to the store, this stuff is very cheap. I'm talking very cheap. Like, I mean, you spend a couple bucks and you're getting all your vegetables. Like, and same with fruit, Um, like, I'm a big smoothie guy, right? So I can't wait to live here and start making smoothies out of all these tropical fruits, man. Um, and I'm a big steak guy too, so this works for me. Even though I need to calm down the steak and some of that other stuff because I'm getting a little too big. You know what I mean? uh, anyway, so yeah, great country for food. I went super hard on food, so sorry for overgoing on that. For maybe some people who ain't that interested, but okay, I went over language. Okay, you guys. All right. This is all right. Women dating is amazing. It's I know I have a different story, right? I have my family here. When I tell my story, even just the quick version, um, it's very enticing for a lot of people. I'm kind of that kid who came back. I know I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm that person who came back as a younger man. Been coming back, been integrating myself in the family, put myself in positions where I'm helping family when I can, organizing family events and stuff like that. So I know it's a little bit different for me, but for your average foreigner, right, of what I've seen online, and also word of mouth down here too. You guys are doing very well when it comes to dating, right? Whether you're doing online or cold approach, in person, meeting through your own connections, right? And that last part is very important because when you're down here, it's a very small country, right? And people are very proud to be Paraguayo, right? So when they meet you, they want to they want to be your friend, right? As long as you have good intentions, you're not coming to like start like a super terrible corporation that's going to exploit people or whatever. Um, if you're a normal guy coming down here, and you have it together, uh, you're going to do very well. Uh, and it's more than just the money part. I know that a lot of people go to immediately, it's because of your money. It's because of your money. It's because of your money. And to a point that is true, but it's also because you're interesting. You're somebody different. Uh, Paraguay, the closest next capital city, I believe, if you were to take a bus, I think Rio is like 8, 9 hours or something like that. So it's not like Europe, right? It's not like you just like hop on for like an hour and a half and then you're in like what, Paris to like, I don't know, Berlin or something. I actually don't know if it's only an hour and a half. I have no idea. But the point is that Paraguayos don't really. Some might go to Brazil to vacation, but they're not just like bouncing around country to country, meeting a bunch of people. Pretty much the people who they do meet from the world are coming to Paraguay, right? Um, there are a few that go to America. The top places in America that I've heard are New York, Miami, and New Jersey, right, where most Paraguayos live. Um, but besides that, if you're a guy looking for dating, it's going to go very well for you, hands down. Um, Even on the online stuff, you do got to be careful though. I know that uh, Colombia, right? Colombia kind of has a bad rap for the whole drugging stuff that goes on by women or whoever they're working with. So you know that does exist a little bit, but it's not even as close as bad. Not even as close. There's reasons I'll go into that, but I think that overall the biggest reason is because Paraguay is a smaller country, so the police that do enforce here have a better grasp on crime, right? So Asuncion and the metro area is relatively a very low crime city, right? Especially compared to the rest of Latin America. Um, so that's in your favor, right? When you go to Colombia, Medellin, especially, I think, yeah, tons of expats are going to Medellin, and some other places like Cartagena. You really got to watch out for that stuff. And in fact, Tinder, like I wouldn't even advise Tinder in you know, in a place like Colombia. You're much better off making connections, like hitting the gym, um, karaoke. As long as you're not like getting overly drunk and stuff at your karaoke time. But singing and dancing, man, oh man, that goes super far. If you're a dancer, oh, you're gonna do just fine. You know what I mean? Because that's how a lot of people meet here, right? Is dancing. And I'm not talking just about perreo, bump and grind, all that stuff. Which there is that. I'm not. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about like Latin America, especially Paraguay, is cumbia. Cumbia is huge here, right? So that's there's actual steps to it, right? There's also the romantic bachata and that kind of stuff that'll come on. So if you're a dancer, if you're a singer, I love to sing, and I love poetry. I'm old school, so like, I love poetry, and it's really nice because Latin American women, they love romance and poetry. I mean, like, South America is the continent of love, and I don't say that lightly. Um, there's a reason plenty of men come to countries in South America and fall in love, deeply in love, right? Start families, whether they bring their partner back to the U.S. or stay here. I personally now recommend, for other reasons, but mostly economic reasons, to figure out a plan to stay in the country, right? Also, your partner is going to be much more comfortable and happy if they get to stay um, in their country where they're from, right? So yeah, I know I'm touching a lot on dating, but the reality is that most men move because, well, there's I think three reasons, right? There's economic, which is cost of living, right? Um, Whether you're trying to figure out a life when you're younger years, relatively, like I am 32, that's relatively young, um, or you're older gentleman, maybe you had a marriage and didn't work out, and you want to start again, and America is not working out for you, or the Western world is not working out for you if you're not in America. Um, yeah, so yeah, dating, right? It'll go your way, especially if you know Spanish. Caleb Jones, a YouTuber, he did a video was very interesting on those who use apps, right? Translation apps, right, to date. And like he says in the video, a main point he makes is it's really not for beginners though. Like you really have to have experience dating. Uh, is what he recommends. Like it's not for beginners. Like if you're a guy who knows how to get along with the lady, right? You're gonna be fine using some of these apps. Just make sure that you have full cell service, not just Wi-Fi. Um, so in case like you step outside of whatever, like you're gonna be fine. But Paraguayans are very very patient. Not just because they're Latinas, but because Paraguay is a special country. So they will take the time to not only understand you, but also teach you, right? And they'll teach you Guarani. They'll help you with your Spanish. They'll help you with the mix, but mostly Spanish if that's what you're focused on. If you're not that great at it, um, yeah. Just beyond that, uh, Paraguayans in general are very sweet women. I have, I have my sister here, my niece, aunts, girl cousins, and they're all wonderful women to be around. Some of them got their character or whatnot, but in general, right? Uh, they're very pleasant. Um, you know, some are a little wilder. Some of my older cousins, believe it or not even the younger ones, but overall though, I've personally have had a lot of luck down here over the last 11 years when I have been dating, especially on this trip too. Some of you guys who worry like I did in the U.S. like about like getting older. It's not an issue for at least for a guy trying to. I can't speak for women, but for a man. And in fact, the older you get, honestly, the more options you have. You have women older than you looking at you. You have younger women, right? Like whatever. Like honestly, like even down to like whatever 18, 19, 20. I personally like mid 20s slash uh it really depends, but like I'm kind of like looking for that, but actually I found a woman down here who's closer to my age, so and we get along very well, um so that's possible too. um yeah, I think I've taught enough for now. And I'll do a whole nother video, even though I feel like I just did one about dating. But the reality is a lot of guys move for cost of living, dating, and either business or investments, right? So yeah, I didn't finish my thought there. My bad. Okay, what were we talking about? Okay, opportunities, you guys. Economic. Paraguay is on the rise, right? I'll say Paraguay, Paraguay, right? It's on the rise. So infrastructure is getting better. The roads are getting better. Sidewalks here and there. It's only because sidewalks are like kind of private, right, to each person's property. So sidewalks, yeah, sometimes in the downtown for sure. Like downtown, if you're staying down there, I don't advise it though. Like honestly, just get like 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes away from downtown, even just like 15 minutes away from the downtown center. And you're going to find just as nice hotels like this for much cheaper. And you're going to have green areas, to go to. So I very, sorry. Yeah. So I very much recommend, please get out of the main strip. I know that I've seen videos that I'm going to cover that, people say, oh, Paraguay's so boring. Oh my gosh. There's nothing to do here. I was like, you didn't even give it a chance, You barely talk to locals. You're going purely off of Google or TripAdvisor or whatever. You're really not, uh, you're not doing the right things to find the right places, right? If you want to go out, yes, the main downtown strip, there is a Carmelitas is kind of like um, I think the neighborhood, yeah, or zone or whatever that, the zona, right? That, most, people go out in, but there's others too. Like there's a little strip in, there's like a cross section out in, San Lorenzo. It's closer to one of the universities that has like a bar on each corner, and it's really popping, right? For those who go out, right? I actually don't like to go out, step out anymore, too much for several reasons. But the nightlife is, and it's super affordable, you guys. I mean, if you're a beer drinker, if you're a drinker, right? If you're not, cool, whatever. If you're dancing, you don't need nothing to drink. All the power to you, man, or ladies, right? Um, but if beers are incredibly cheap here, and I'm talking about like they'll bring you like champagnetas, right? Is the like the bucket with ice, and then everything comes on ice. If you're a whiskey guy, like me, I usually get a bottle of Johnny Walker Black to share, and that goes for even in the clubs, believe it or not. I think I paid this last time like 230,000 for a liter, just a regular bottle of Johnny Walker Black in a club. So that would be about $40, right? Um, Maybe like 35, so in between somewhere there, I think 35 and 45. Let's just put it right there. But I mean, you try to get a bottle in the States in like Miami, etc., especially like a whiskey bottle or something like that. I mean, you're going to pay way over $100. You know what I mean? If they even serve bottles, like most places, just it's just a drink in hand. Um, and even drinks in hand are, I mean, shoot, you go to Las Vegas, you're talking 30 to $50. And man, that makes me cringe when people go to Las Vegas and start paying like $50 a drink. I'm like, look, that drink could have paid a whole night here at this hotel. And it may not look too much, right now. I'm actually using the bed to as a desk in my uh maleta. Dang, why can't I'd be losing words, man, sometimes when I when I don't speak English. This is the first time I'm speaking English in a few weeks, so yeah, I'm thinking in Spanish. But anyways, yeah, nightlife is good, and you're not going to spend too much. If you're going with a lady or a group, I advise going with a group though. If you're going with the lady, I would suggest wine and dine pretty much anywhere, even in the nicest places down here. Like O Gaucho is one. That it's a very nice steakhouse, and I think a plate goes for like, man, what did I see, like 180. So that would be just like shy of $30, right? But I mean, I'm talking about like full on buffet, all the meats. They bring in the meats to your table, like shave off whatever you want, whatever you don't want, you tell them. Drinks are separate though. But if you have a couple each, you're not talking about a bill more than 80, like 75, $80. But like I said, these are the nicest places. You know what I mean? You go to the nicest places in the United States. I mean, you're racking up a bill of $300-400, like, so, and I don't like to go always to the nicest places. Like, in fact, I actually don't like to go. It's just on very rare occasions when I'm celebrating stuff. There's a ton of other spots that are like in the middle that are like fun places, or like outdoorsy places, like kind of like more hip or whatnot, these days. And beautiful places that go on my Instagram, you guys. I'm gonna be posting a little bit more about places I've been and on this trip too. I was just at one a couple nights ago called La Escondida in Fernando de la Mora. It's right outside of Asuncion, technically. It had a wonderful patio area, fountains, palm trees. There. I mean, it was family. Like, man, it was just a good vibes, man. And I went with my lady down here, and it was a great time. So yeah, so there's that. Uh, Man, I got big into nightlife. Okay, okay, where are we at? I was talking about opportunities. Now I got really off track. Okay. So all right, I'm gonna get back on track again. I'm gonna try to at least. Uh, my current personal goals, like I said, I obtained dual citizenship. That was extremely important. Um, if you want to move ahead. Cedula is basically the equivalent of your social security number, right? And that allows you to work, that allows you to get property, that allows you to pretty much thrive, get your license, live, right? I plan on working virtually. And actually oh man, I should have brought this up at the beginning, but Paraguay, they don't tax foreign income, right? Period. Period, period, period. They do not tax foreign income. And that's why a lot of digital nomads are starting to consider Paraguay, right? And that's wonderful. Like that is so important, right? Because you don't want to get taxed any more than you already are. Like, at least in my case, I'm taxed every $10 I make. They take three, right? uh, that's in me. I mean, I know in some of your guys' case, they're taking 4 to every 10 you're making in the States, at least, right? So you don't want them to take any more, and they don't here. Property taxes is very, very low. It's like, well, actually, I can't even put a percentage on it because I don't know, but it's so low, like you don't even realize it. There's not any HOAs here on housing. I think HOAs are one of the biggest scams ever in the United States. Um, and also like taxes, like, I mean, in the States, you got your local, you got your state, you got your federal. No, it's just one. just the country taxes. They don't do all the municipality stuff. Um, you know, at least what I understand. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But at least what I understand, very low taxes, very easy to navigate relatively, right? You still want your lawyer, you still want an accountant. To work with a lawyer and an accountant is affordable. Save for these things definitely, but it is doable. I mean, there are lawyers and accountants that are speak English as well. I personally work with a lawyer that only speaks Spanish, but he's a great lawyer. And any of you adoptees who are considering uh, to get residency or pretty much full citizenship, um, I can maybe not right now, but I can help you at least connect you to the right people or person, right? Um, the total cost it took me was about 1.6 thousand. I think I might have mentioned that. Uh, but yeah, so about 1.6 thousand. Okay. Um, all right. Yeah, I think I went pretty much over my goals. Oh, housing. I actually did some walkthroughs that I'm gonna throw on the channel here. Um, and housing, very affordable housing. I'm talking about, I was looking at houses under 140,000. In fact, actually, the top house I saw was like 134,000. Beautiful, you guys. Modern, beautiful. Like I'm talking like 4 bedroom, four bathroom, like service house in the back. Some a couple with pools. I mean, they're in good neighborhoods, modern neighborhoods. They're getting modern, but just absolutely gorgeous houses, And I think what was the last time I checked in the States a house was, the average house, because I was looking for condos that were much more expensive than this in the city I live in Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin, not LA, not New York, not Chicago, Wisconsin, right? Um, but houses, I think the average, I think I saw last like $450,000 in the States. So like the ones I'm looking at here are like what, a fourth, a third of the cost. And then that's exactly why, um, if you're able to figure out a virtual option for work, or if there's other things I'll get into in another video about opportunities for work, right? You can live an amazing life down here, you know. And just quickly, I'll add on to that. Paraguay is pretty much energy of efficient, sufficient. Uh, because and that's because um, there's a hydroelectric dam that Paraguay shares with Brazil, and because Paraguay is such a small country, um, it pretty much all 70% of the country's energy comes from this dam, Itaipu, I believe. Um, and the only reason the other 30% doesn't is because the 30% is far away. It's not. It doesn't make sense to, at least now, I guess, or they haven't been able to like connect the other parts of the country to this dam. Um, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that your average energy bill is going to be about the third of the cost that is in the States. You are going to be running your AC a ton though, because it gets very hot here. That is something that you got to think about though. This is a very hot country. There's 4 days here that it was 100 degrees in a row. And then now it's about 80 degrees outside. So it's very pleasant right now. We're just entering spring down here, right? Um, so that kind of gives you an idea of how hot it can get. And then in the summers, they last a very long time. They last like our winters do in the Midwest and in the States. Uh, very long summers, and they can get hot, right? So if you're not a fan of heat, uh, you could either try to accustom yourself to the heat, um, or most likely you're probably going to be working a job inside anyways. So if you can stomach the heat through the day, you're mostly probably going to be inside, and then go outside when it gets dark, and kind of live your like light nightlife that way. That's kind of how you go about it, right? Okay. Yeah, I already went over kind of like living costs, housing, um, and okay, yeah, we went over dating. Um, okay, so the goals for this channel is pretty much travel, news, lifestyle. It's going to be much more than that, but that's kind of what I put out there. But anyway, so I'm going to keep up with all things that are going on in Paraguay and things that are especially affect people who are considering moving here, and adoption related topics, right? Because I know a lot of you are interested in that as well. Um, so I'm going to keep on with my relevant personal stories over the last 11 years. I'm going to do travel tips and tricks that are that specifically have to do with Paraguay. I'm going to go over detail on the lifestyle, even though I pretty much did a lot right now. Um, I'll go a little bit over the history because our history is very important to understand why we're a small country, why there is quite a bit of poverty, um, even though it is economically on the rise, right? Um, I'll go over family too. Family is very important to people here. It's incredibly important. And actually, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but because Paraguayans are so intertwined with family and community in general, that creates a sense of happiness, right? Because so many of us are disconnected from our families for so many different reasons in the States, especially. I mean, my first the closest cousins I have in the States are like 2.5 hours away. Like here in a 1 kilometer radius, I have like, oh my gosh, man, like 2 dozen family members, right? Um, the cousins, aunts, that kind of thing. My sister, her kids. That's in a 1 kilometer radius, you guys. So like I'm surrounded with family here. Um, you know, and my point is that I think it was a couple of years ago, Gallup poll, right, actually put Paraguay as for a developing nation as the most happiest country on earth, right? Which is incredible, right? If you really think about it, there's a ton of developing countries on earth, and Paraguay got the happiness trophy, right? It was ranked up there, and that's because when they asked your average Paraguayan, "How's your life going?" People are very optimistic, right? And it's incredible to see like people like go through things and the way they navigate certain like hard things in life is, and their chill attitude. It's so impressive, you guys. I mean, we stress ourselves so hard in the States and in other Western nations because we're just go at it, go at it, go at it. It's kind of like Japan as well. They're just go at it. China as well. They're go at it nations, and we stress ourselves way more than we need to, right? Okay. I'll be going over culture. I think I already said that. Dating, we're gonna dive even deeper into that. Living costs, I'm gonna be how like housing, for example, but also like I'm gonna be showing you what you can get in a grocery store as well. I'm already taking photos and stuff. Um, I can't, I probably won't go into super detail, but I'll at least give you a general idea, like what you can expect in the grocery store for some certain things, right? Um, the economy at large. I'll be doing reaction videos for people who have came down here as well. There's a lot of travelers that kind of end up here for whatever reason, and not always to stay, just to put it on their list and do their travel vlogs and then move on, right? And it is it's just funny seeing their reactions and seeing what I agree with and I don't agree with. I'll be doing some on the ground content. It's not going to be too much of a channel about that, though. There's other guys who do a bunch of the interior traveling. I'm a city guy myself. I grew up in the city. Here, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the luxuries that, uh, or some of the amenities, right, that the city offers. So I will be getting into the campo though, into the interior here, which is like the interior part of the country. That's how people say it. Yeah, and just more, man. I don't. I'm this is not an exhaustive list, even though it seems like it is, right? Um, but as you can tell, I'm very passionate about my country. And yeah, okay. So um, I want to give message to foreigners as a whole, which I already did like a couple times over here. But just ending to foreigners who are considering Paraguay as an option. Um, it's very friendly to foreigners. And that has to do with historical reasons I won't get into now, but especially to Americans. Paraguay is an ally of the United States. Um, it kind of hides that a little bit, but it's very obvious. I mean, I won't. I'll just not because it's a lot, right? We'll cover this in another video. But it's for many historical reasons. To this day, Paraguay is very friendly to foreigners, even immigrants, right? Even a lot of Brazilians want to come here. A lot of Argentinians because their peso is not worth very much, right? Um, Actually, hardly anything, right? It's a very sad state of affairs in Argentina. Their economy, right? Like every 10 years, it just crashes and crashes and crashes. I don't know what Argentina is going to do, but I feel for my family who lives in Argentina and all Argentinos, man. Like it's not their fault that their economy is doing so bad, right? And Venezuelans, right? They're Venezuelans here, right? As well. Um, and it's a great thing, and pretty much society welcomes um, foreigners, right? Whether you're coming with dollars, euros, or you're coming from a precarious situation like from Venezuela or whatnot. But if you are coming from a Western country or the States, your currency goes very, very, very far, right? I'm talking about, except when it comes to things like cars and electronics. But besides that, housing, food, electricity costs. I mean, you're talking about you're 3 to 5xing your money, right? So if you're making 70K a year, just imagine, you know what I mean? Times that by 3, you know, then you're becoming a rich man or woman, right? Um, or sometimes it's by 5x, or that house that like I was just saying, the most expensive one I saw down here was $134,000 with about a $4,000 down payment, and they're even going to want you to even more because you're probably going to offer cash for that, while a lot of people here would probably have to finance that first 4 grand, right? So anyways, your currency goes far. And great dating options. There are wonderful, sweet women here that will treat you right. I know that a lot of you are struggling. I see the numbers. I see the divorce rate is getting out of control, especially for younger generations. I think last time I checked, it's like 50 going on 60%. So I know that a lot of you are trying to avoid that, and I don't blame you whatsoever. I personally, I did not have the best of luck. I've had girlfriends, and some were great, years ago, and some not so great, right? But overall, wonderful to date down here. Just keep on that Spanish. There are ways to date with women who are patient, and there's a lot of patient women here who are willing to, use an app with you, etc. I'll point you in the direction to Caleb Jones's channel. He talks about that. I personally never had to do that, but that is an option. And okay, now I want to speak just off the cuff, right, to adoptees and their families. So number one, if you're an adoptee, and it doesn't matter if you're Paraguayan, etc. If you're an international adoptee and you have to navigate and exist in several worlds, even if you don't speak the language of the country and you're not as well versed culturally as you would like to be, there's a lot of things you need to navigate, right? And I'm proud of you, like, from the bottom of my heart, I'm proud of you. Keep grinding, keep doing well, keep pushing. Also set goals for yourself, whether it be, staying inside, right? But inside your own borders of your own country, and I know a lot of you probably have families, and now you're adults, and maybe doing something like this, maybe quite a bit more difficult because you have children, etc. But a big goal of this channel is to get you to realize that, if you're willing to take a few steps, invest a little bit of money, living here in Paraguay is wonderful, for a lot of reasons, right? That a lot of reasons I just talked about. And I could even elaborate hours and hours on end on every single one of them, which I actually will do in next videos, right? But, you're going to be accepted. You're going to be loved. It's in Paraguay, I'm talking specifically. For historical reasons, there's a lot of reasons us are adopted, whether because, we're a very conservative society here in Paraguay. And because of that, even more so, like I said, back in the day, and, a lot of women were shunned, and a lot of women went through a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of babies out of wedlock, women weren't using birth control. So there's a lot of babies that a lot of us are adopted. Divorce was illegal up until like 92 or 3, I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's early 90s, right? But still, for your average American, just imagine, right? Divorce was illegal till the early 90s. Okay. All right. So, okay, back on track. Keep grinding. You're doing well. Keep surviving, keep living, but try to live, don't just try to survive. If you're from a country that's not Paraguay, try to look at the economic benefits, try to look at cultural benefits to you moving. If you're a guy dating, with ladies too, but it is more difficult for ladies, I'm not going to lie, because, there is a lot of machismo in Latin America, which makes it more difficult to navigate. And for men, I will just quickly say too that, around the world, there's and it's kind of true, stereotype that your average Western man, no matter what color you are or ethnicity, right? You're looked at as a gentleman because machismo. How do you say that in English? Darn, I don't know. But you know what I'm talking about. Machismo, right? It's to another level. And a lot of women down here have to deal with that. I've seen it play out in my own family. That's, why certain family members aren't with their significant others anymore. And it's not just little stuff that like everybody deals with, like a little bit of jealousy. It's pretty serious stuff that a lot of women have to deal with down here. So, and I only have to say that caveat, for ladies who are considering dating. It's not all men, but it's a very significant amount, right? So stay tuned on the channel, you guys. This is a very long video, I know. You can feel free to skip around. Why did I say that at the end, right? I should say that at the beginning, but I'm not mad at you if you don't watch the whole thing or if you skip around, etc. Yeah, and hit me up in the comments. Also, contact me. My email, pretty much all of this is mybestlifeparaguay at gmail.com is my email. I'm on Facebook, My Best Life Paraguay, Instagram, My Best Life Paraguay. But here on YouTube, I'll be reading your comments. Yeah, and so just let me know. And if you want to, reach out to me on a more personal level, do so in email. I don't know if there's character limits or whatever in YouTube. But there's also personal stuff. But if you have any questions for me, hit me up. Again, I'm Ryan Aranda. welcome to the channel. And yeah, this might be one of the only times I show my face. I'll probably be doing mostly just filming some pictures. I'm a city guy, so it's mostly going to be like stuff I'm eating, etc., places I'm going. Not too much in the country yet. I'll get there, but not quite, right? I do have to go back to the States, though. I will be there for a significant amount of time, but don't worry. I'll still be producing content, and I'll be here permanently next year, right? So thanks for for hanging in there for this super long hour-long video. But I think it's important, right, that I did cover these certain things. And I know I'm speaking to several different audiences. Want to give you an intro to who I am, and also just stay tuned. See what Paraguay is like. See if you want to add it as an option. All right, you guys. I'll see you later. Thanks for sticking in there. Oh, and like and subscribe, please. Not just on this video, but upcoming ones as well, if you like it. All right, guys. Take care.